Oh hey, didn't see you there. I've been trying to work out how to watch anime without my computer. Why without my computer, you ask? Creative differences. I won't act like it's hard to imagine that weeb culture is older than many streaming services. It's just easier to watch anime now compared to how it was back then. As a more modern anime fan, I want to go back and see what it was like for earlier fans. Finally got my imported copy of Astro Boy fresh from Japan. Now let's just put it in the player. No subtitles. Okay, maybe not that early. In the late 90s, 4Kids started showing anime alongside normal cartoons. Even though it was heavily censored, it was many's first taste of this medium. Now, if you're curious what 4Kids is, the fact that the Wikipedia page is all in past tense should give you a sign about how important they are now. But wow, was 4Kids infamous for its censorship and localization. I mean, this studio's been gone for how many years now, and you still hear people talking about it. I mean, you had all the censored blood, removed guns, Sanji's French for some reason. You know, honestly, if this is why fans don't like dubs today, I kinda get it. The other big anime channel or outlet for fans was Every Kid's Worst Nightmare. Oh f***, I'm supposed to be in bed. While Toonami does exist today, back in the day it was the way to watch anime. Every Saturday around 5 hours of anime would air straight. Some new shows and a lot of reruns. Since they could only show so many episodes, chances are whatever show you were watching would only get one episode a week. And if the lack of ability to binge watch isn't soul-crushing enough, this was during the age of common filler episodes. I waited all week for this episode of Bleach. I cannot wait to see how Ichigo does against... Motherfuck! And that isn't even mentioning if you accidentally start a show in the middle of a series because you can't decide when you would start a show. But if you did want a way to control what show you watched and when... You always had DVDs. I know pirating and fan subs were a thing, but I was 9 and I already knew the risk of clicking random links that said anime on the family computer. So for me at the very least, the only other main way to watch anime whenever I wanted were DVDs. And you know, you could try to buy new shows that you haven't watched before, but that's how you end up with a physical copy of School Days. Your best bet was hoping Walmart had the Naruto DVD that had that sweet Naruto vs Sasuke fight that all the ND and AMVs used. If you were in an awful spot and lived in a small town that suppliers didn't even find worth to stock anime DVDs, you still had video games to get a daily dose of weeb anytime you wanted, and it was rough. Anime games are a topic I would love to cover in a different video, so I'll keep this brief. It was harsh. I wanted Zatch Bell, not this fresh hell. I mean, you may have had an on-demand service that you could watch any of the first 3 Blue Exorcist episodes you wanted, but outside of that, you were kinda screwed. If anime wasn't big yet in the West, manga was far off. Looking through old advertisements, manga was still referred to as graphic novels, and they were as closely localized to the anime as possible. Localized names, most of the same censorship, you know how it is. If you were lucky enough to have your own computer that didn't randomly burst into flames, there was just this whole other world out there that made you feel part of an even smaller niche. It was such a small group of anime fans that anime fans as a whole felt like they were part of the same community no matter what you watched. I won't stick on this topic for too long because I wasn't a part of this community, but bumping into some of the relics that are left from this group are kind of interesting. With how small the community was and how hard it was to just watch any show, that made every episode of whatever you were watching feel that much more special. Which begs the question, was being an anime fan better back then? Did the overinflation of options ruin the magic of finding a new great show? No!